Welcome to The Explainer. The crypto market is absolutely on fire, and today we're going to break down the massive rally that's making headlines everywhere and try to figure out what's really driving this thing.
So let's just dive right in with the number that tells the whole story. As of early October 2025, Bitcoin is trading just shy of $124,000. I mean, it is literally knocking on the door of its all-time record high. We're talking less than 1% away. You can just feel the tension in the market. And believe me, it's not just Bitcoin. To give you an idea of just how wild things are, one crypto-related stock, and we'll get to which one later, has shot up an unbelievable 150% in just 1 week. Okay, so what in the world is going on here? To really get a handle on this, let's dig into the numbers behind the headlines and see just how big this rally is. Obviously, Bitcoin is the star of the show. No question. It's leaped 12% this week alone, thanks to a monster 5-day rally. For the year, it's up almost 30%. And maybe most importantly, trading volumes are spiking, which tells you a ton of money is flooding into the space. But here's the thing, this isn't just a Bitcoin story. Not at all. We're seeing momentum pretty much everywhere. Ethereum is holding strong above $4,000. Solana's trading volume is up a whopping 57%. Even XRP is seeing nice, steady gains. The rising tide is lifting all boats here. All right, so we've seen the what. Let's get to the why. Why is this all happening right now? Well, a huge part of the answer actually has very little to do with crypto and a whole lot to do with what's going on in Washington. So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? What are the actual catalysts pushing so many people into digital assets? Why this and why now? Well, it's really a perfect storm. You've got the ongoing U.S. government shutdown, which, makes people nervous about traditional financial systems. When that happens, people start looking for alternatives, things that the government doesn't control, and that leads them right to assets like Bitcoin. On top of that, everyone's expecting interest rates to drop in 2026, which makes holding cash kind of boring. So investors are looking for bigger returns, and crypto looks pretty attractive. And because of all this chaos, more and more investors are starting to treat Bitcoin like a safe haven asset. You've probably heard that term. The basic idea is that it's a place to park your money to keep it safe when traditional markets, like stocks and bonds, start to feel shaky. But let's be clear, Bitcoin is a very different kind of safe haven. Traditional havens like gold are all about stability. Bitcoin, well, it offers a place to store value completely outside the normal system. But here's the catch. With that high growth potential comes some seriously high price volatility. It's like a high-risk, high-reward version of safety. Now, let's zoom in on one of the most insane subplots in this entire rally, the story of a company called Bakkt Holdings. It perfectly captures the kind of speculative energy that's in the air right now. So yeah, like we said at the top, this digital asset platform watched its stock price explode by over 150% in 7 days. It's a perfect example of how, when Bitcoin gets hot, investor appetite for anything even remotely related to crypto can just go parabolic. But this didn't just happen out of the blue. It came right after Bakkt made some really smart business moves. They streamlined their operations, they completely wiped out their long-term debt, and they raised $75 million in fresh capital. They basically cleaned up their balance sheet. And that is what lit the fuse. Investors looked at the changes and saw a much healthier company, a company that was setting itself up for real long-term growth. And bam, they piled in, sending the stock to a level it hadn't seen in years. So, all this crazy momentum, all this money flying around, it brings us to the million-dollar question that's on every single investor's mind. Is this for real, or are we just watching a bubble get bigger? Let's look at both sides. To put it another way, are we seeing a new, more mature chapter for crypto? Or is history about to repeat itself with another classic boom and bust cycle that we've all seen before? You can make a pretty good argument for both. The bulls will tell you, hey, this time it's different. We're seeing huge institutions and corporations getting in on the action, something that wasn't really happening in past cycles. But the bears are waving a huge red flag. They're pointing to the massive crashes of the past and saying this looks like the exact same speculative hype. And they'll remind you that the extreme volatility that caused those crashes, yeah, that's still here. And just to show you how bullish some folks are, it's not just random people on the internet. You have major players like Standard Chartered putting out some seriously optimistic price targets. I'm talking 135K in the short term, with some even whispering about 200K by the end of the year.
But look, no matter which side you land on, the fundamental lesson of crypto has not changed one bit. The chance for huge rewards always comes with the chance for huge risks. It's a package deal. Managing that risk is everything. So we'll leave you with this to think about. On one hand, the market does feel more mature. The big players are here. But on the other, that speculative frenzy feels awfully familiar, doesn't it? So the question we all have to ask ourselves is, what happens when the music stops this time? Thanks for watching.